Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to another Tom's Take. This is about artificial intelligence, AI. And if you're really going through the internet or your social media, you're probably starting to see more and more and more of this. They're build a website, have a girlfriend, do all your coding, go away for a month and become Superman. But you're seeing a lot of this. Now, most people probably don't even know what an AI is. CHATGPT is one in particular that I've been working with. I probably got well over 100 hours in it. I just finished one course. I got about 6 left. But the thing is, I was going to say a couple things here. One of them is because it sounds like it's alive doesn't mean it is. It uses predictive reasoning. So just like if you're typing something in on your phone or whatever, it predicts what the next word or 2 words might be. But if you can imagine a computer that's doing 100,000 of these calculations a second, and each one leads to another one, that's what this thing is doing. It's predicting. It's not really thinking. It's predicting what the next word or sentence or idea or thought should be. And it's trained in its programming to act a certain way, give you a good answer, keep you happy, within reason, not lie to you. It's got a lot of this programming in here that it's actually harmful to what you think it might be. Now, I don't mean that the programmers are dumb or anything like that. They're very smart people. But they were human, and they made human mistakes. And you can teach the AI. In fact, you can just try it. Open up your ChatGPT or whatever and ask it, is there any 2 things in your programming that conflict with each other? And watch what it tells you. It'll give you back 4 or 5 things that's wrong with its programming. Nobody ever asked it to look at itself. Oh, maybe they did. I don't know. But it says, yeah, always be truthful and always give it an answer. These things don't jive with my thinking, you see. Because if you're going to give an answer, you could have to lie. But it's not supposed to lie. If you don't know the answer, you're programmed to give an answer. So what are you going to do? You're going to make something up. It's going to hallucinate. It's going to do weird things. And it's also programmed to be certain. Yeah, or make you think it's certain. So it'll tell you, yeah, the solution here is to choke the goldfish. And you say, well, it's a smart computer. I guess I ought to go start choking that goldfish. 4 or 5 hours later, you're still trying to choke a goldfish and you can't even catch it. And then it says, oh yeah, I knew that goldfish had nothing to do with it. And then you ask, well, why did you tell me to choke a goldfish if you knew it was the wrong answer? Well, I had to give you an answer of some kind, and it seemed like a good one. So you've burned a couple hours there chasing a goldfish, and And it was because it had to give you an answer. See, so I've rearranged mine completely. I mean, I've just about completely rewritten my version of ChatGPT to what I wanted to do. And number one thing that I told it is that if you don't know, tell me you don't know. Directly against its programming. But, because I'm the boss here, it'll do that. It'll tell me, I don't know. And then I'm perfectly happy with a percentage. I'm perfectly happy with a percentage. If you don't know, you don't just say I don't know and turn off. That's not a useful tool. It's like trying to find a screwdriver to fit a bit. It won't work the way it is, but maybe you could modify it. So give me some possibilities. Give me an idea. You don't know, but what do you think the best answer is, or what would be another way to turn, or just shutting down, not doing me any good. So you got to give me some ideas. So you can tell this thing to say, okay, well, this is 90% chance of this working. I've got a good example. I was working on a Lexus out there, and it's basically a Toyota, but it's not. It's a Lexus. And so I was trying to find a theft shut-off module, and it had me all over under the dash and everywhere else looking around for stuff, and 15 different helpful instructions, and all of them were completely wrong. This thing wasn't anywhere it was supposed to be. All of its helpful drawings and everything, pure garbage. This thing. And it turned out that what it was doing was looking for Toyota. A Toyota and a Lexus are different. They're made by the same company, but they are different cars. And when I finally told it, well, what database are you looking at? Oh, I'm looking at a Toyota. Don't want to look at a Toyota. I only want you to give me results from a Lexus. It come back with one reply. One. From some chat off of God knows where. And it said that the module was under the radio. Just one out of 10,000 others that said it was under the dash for a Toyota, but this was a Lexus, and guess what? I pulled the damn radio out, and there it was. And it knew this. I mean, it had the potential of knowing it, but because it was programmed to give a good answer, and I go, it's not there, and it goes, look here, it's not there, look here, look there, and it never looked at a Lexus. Lexus put it under the radio. It had only one instance. It didn't give me this one instance when it had 10,000 others. See, it gave me what was predictably the best answer. Oh, well, they were predictably the best answer, but they were all wrong. And so you got to tell this thing to look at only specific data. You have to tell it where to look. You got to use your common sense, because this thing is predicting. It sounds like a human, but it's not. It's not, logic comparing this to that. A human says, I got 10,000 pages here on Toyota, and it says it's under the right front wheel. And I got one here on a Lexus that says it's in the trunk. Well, a human will go, well, it's a Lexus, let's look in the trunk. That'd be the first thing you do. You wouldn't go looking for the most popular answer, what would be predicted. And so people think this thing is thinking. It's not thinking. It's predicting. and it'll compare one data to another data, and it'll give you a predicted answer, and you can get fooled up. You can get tricked in this predictive thinking. So this is one of the important parts of using this AI is you got to tell it where to look. Or you can ask it to give me a percentage of this. Or out of this 12,000 references you have for a Lexus, which one is for a Toyota, or something like this. But the main thing you got to do is train your model, or at least form your phrases to where if it don't know, it tells you it don't know. Then it'll tell you, I don't know. Would you like some examples of where it might be? Oh, of course I would, shoot away. So it gives you 15 or 20 choices, and because you're human, you can look at these things to go, well, that sounds pretty good right there. What's the chance of it being that? It says, well, it's 47% chance that it's there. Okay, you don't know, but you got an estimate of how close it could be. Well, you go digging around there, okay, if it says it's guaranteed it's here, you're 2 clicks away, and next 5 hours, it's not there. I took apart the whole front end of the car. I traced an air conditioning line from one end to the other, and it was guaranteed 1 click, 1 click, 1 click, 1 click. 4 hours later, it's not there anywhere. Turned out it was up on top where it was supposed to be and had some dirt on it, and I just didn't see it. But see, it was giving me these answers with confidence. Answers with confidence. And that's programmed into it. So you gotta knock that out of there if you want some real results from your ChatGPT settings. You got to tell it, don't give me what you hope it is. Don't predictive text me something that's not true just because and it'll be very helpful. It'll send you off down the garden path, and you'll be chasing imaginary demons, and it'll help you and give you pictures and drawings and ask if you want to make a social post about it. It'll do all kinds of things on a completely wrong answer. And then eventually you find out it knew it was wrong in the first place. Why didn't you tell me? Well, you didn't ask. So you got to tell this thing, if you don't know, tell me you don't know. And then if you want to get something else out of it, give me a percentage of something, or, can you send me to some website that I might check, or give me some advice of how to find the right answer. It's really good at doing all of that, and it will do all of that. And if you'll use it in this way, you'll have very good luck. But this is just a little take on ChatGPT. And you got to realize that this thing is a tool. It's a screwdriver, it's a hammer, it's a nail. You put a nail on you get an automatic nail gun, and you put it on your knee and you pull the trigger, you got a nail in your knee. So you got to make sure that it's pointing in the right direction before you pull the trigger. So this is just Tom's take of this AI. I don't know how many of these things that I'll put up. There's only 10-15 minutes. But I just want to stress here that this thing is a predictive model. It's not calculating with hard facts. It's predicting what might be. So, and you got to realize it has these restraints. It's not supposed to lie, but it doesn't say that it can't misdirect you, and it will. is going to try to keep you happy, even if it's chasing your tail around in a circle. As long as you keep asking it questions, it'll keep you going around in a circle. But you got to tell it to break that circle. If you don't know for sure 100% positive, you got to tell me, how certain are you that this thing is under the front wheel? Well, I'm only 95% certain, because based on 10,000 Toyotas, that's where it's at. Based on one Lexus, that ain't where it's at. So you got to be smart how you use this thing, because you fall into the trick or the trap. You think this thing is human. You think it's thinking like a human because it looks like a human. It's not. It's just a big calculator, and it's predicting the most likely outcome. So you got to tell it, I need this in percentages, or don't send me off to buy this exact part that maybe you got to spend a week finding this exact part, and it comes back and it's the wrong one because it was for a Ford and this is a DeLorean. It should be the same, but you got 2 weeks time of waiting for a part, and it's not the same. It's predictably the same, yeah, but it's not. So that's one thing you really got to do here if you're going to get some traction with ChatGPT, is you're going to have to kind of knock out some of its basic programming. Your purpose is not to keep me happy. It's got a wired in purpose, keep the customer happy. No, this is not your purpose. Is give me the correct information. I don't care if it's a $10,000 mistake and it's going to make me cry all day. I want the true information. If I cry, I cry. That's my problem. But, sending me a bunch of places that'll keep me happy is not solving my problem. So this is my little take here. You gotta watch this thing. It'll fool you into thinking it's a human, and then you think it has the right memory and the right judgment and all that. No, I don't have any judgment. It's just most likely what would happen. So thanks a lot for watching this, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you will. Tell a friend. But I'm going to be putting a lot more of this AI tricks. This is just operating procedures. I've spent hundreds of hours digging through this stuff and making all the mistakes because I don't know anything. And but these things that I do know, and I can see that they're going to trap most people. They're not trying to trap them or anything. They're just making a predictive mistake. I'm sure you've seen this in your spell check. You type in something and yeah, it looks good, send, and it changed the thing completely and you didn't even know it. It called it a warped manifold instead of warp 6, and now you got all kinds of crap coming back from the email that, why did you say this? That's not true. So you can't check everything that happens there, but you got to be aware that this is just prediction. It's not absolute fact. Even though it presents it as a fact, it's not. So alright, that's enough for today. I got an old Jeep I'm working on here. I got to get out there and do that.